By the end of this video, you will have a better understanding of what goes into site planning and things that come up during city and county review processes in the United States. But I'm ready to dive into it, so let's get to it. One of the very first things that I wanted to walk through is parking requirements. I kind of just laid out a typical site plan here, made some 24-foot wide drive aisles. I think we have some 18-foot long parking spaces, but I want to talk about some of the nitty-gritty details that you have to pay attention to as an engineer. Number one is parking requirements. There is usually some sort of minimum parking requirement, and this is typically based on the square footage of the building. So for instance, let's just say maybe if this was a warehouse, you would have to look up your county or city code and understand the minimum required parking for a warehouse or for a bank or for a restaurant. So assuming that this is a warehouse and it's a 20,000 square foot warehouse, and we can do that by clicking this feature line that we created, going over to properties. It's about a 20,000 square foot building. So let's just say if the code ended up being that you need a parking space per every 200 square feet, then we would need 100 spaces. And right now, I don't think we have anywhere close to 100 spaces. So those are things to watch out for. Now, sometimes you got to be careful with restaurants or restaurants with drive-throughs. That can be dependent on the number of seating in the restaurant. Number of seats coincides with how many people need to park. You also need to have parking for employees, etc. Now, what some people often forget is a maximum parking. Sometimes there are maximum parking requirements, meaning let's say my required parking is 100. Some counties and cities will say that you can only overpark 125%, meaning the maximum amount of parking spaces that I can have is 125. If I have any above 125, I need to apply for some sort of variance, or I need to provide more pervious parking. There's always some little requirement, and it varies by your jurisdiction. Now, some jurisdictions can be very tricky. If there's a max parking and you're over, some require a variance and a long, drawn-out process of doing board hearings, and you start adding on months to your project. So definitely don't forget about parking. I also have a basic checklist where I dive into a lot of this stuff. It's on my website. I have these pre-application meeting notes, and I've just been kind of building this over time. But one thing that I think about often is the pedestrian connections. Are pedestrian connections required? Because right now there wasn't any existing sidewalk that was provided by the master developer, but let's just say if the county or city came back and they said that there's a future dedicated sidewalk that's going to go just outside of this road, well, now that changes our entire site plan, and it changes our grading, because not only are we going to have to move this pond, the building, and the parking south, but we're also going to have to regrade it to make sure that this pedestrian connection meets ADA codes. There are certain requirements for ADA with grading. Like for instance, I can't grade this sidewalk more than 5% without needing some sort of ramp or landing spot. So definitely watch out for if you need pedestrian connections. Another thing that can get us into trouble are landscape islands and landscape island widths. I kind of brushed over this in part one, but one thing that we failed to do with this plan is we didn't really take into account some of these landscape islands that we might need. Now, typically you're allowed 10 spaces before you need an island. The reason why cities and counties comment on this is because it just creates a whole bunch of pavement space. Cities and counties, they like their trees, as we all really should. And it creates shading, because usually in these landscape islands, there's going to be some sort of shade tree and a light pole. So you got to be thinking about these things when you're laying out the design. Number one, is the landscape island large enough? This is usually dictated on a county or city code. And then, do you have landscape islands in the appropriate areas? Right now, I'm counting way more than 10 spaces. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14. So basically after this 10th space here, I would need to create an island, probably right here. So this is one site plan adjustment that we have to do. Another thing that commonly gets overlooked, and we definitely overlooked it on this site plan, is a trash enclosure. I'm sure that this building in some sort of way may generate trash, especially if it's a restaurant, shopping mall. Those types of places are generating a lot more trash compared to something maybe like a bank or like a warehouse with an office. However, there still needs to be trash. And a lot of times what you'll have to do is you will have to ask the city or county who the provider is. Sometimes the public, aka the city or county, will provide the service, or sometimes it's based off a private provider. For instance, like a Waste Management. Waste Management has their own criteria that they follow. There's certain dumpster dimensions, there's certain parameters that they need for their truck to actually enter in the site and collect the trash. And, since we forgot this trash enclosure, we have to figure out where we're going to put it. It is additional pavement, additional concrete. The things that I like to think about is how can the trash provider easily access the dumpster? Immediately, what I kind of see looking at this site plan, I think a dumpster can go anywhere, maybe over here. Now, the last thing that I wanted to touch on is the file organization for this. I know when I created the site plan, I converted all of our poly lines to feature lines. However, if you were to really start a project like this, you would really want to keep your proposed grading separate. So as far as your file organization and your process, how I would do this is first, step one, you have to lock in your site plan. I wouldn't even touch grading until we knew that this site plan was locked, meaning you've thought about where the pond's going to be, you've at least thought about the three-dimensional grades, you've built enough space for grading, you have all the islands, you got the transformer locations, the trash. There's a lot that goes into locking in the site plan. I wouldn't even start grading until I have it. So once you do have it, you can then save as that site plan that you have all of your baseline work and have a separate file for your feature line creation. Because the last thing you want to do is to do all of that very hard work and then convert all your hard work away into feature lines. And obviously, when you convert to feature lines, there are opportunities for you to save the existing data, aka the polylines. But then you just start to create some chaos, in my opinion, in your design file, where you have overlapping polylines in your base file with your feature lines, and I can just see it getting pretty messy. That is honestly all I have for today. This is part 2. In the next video, I really want to finalize some of these grading points, build a pipe network, and start understanding utilities. We'll build a fictitious situation where there's some water main extensions and sanitary sewer extensions, and we'll have to evaluate the inverts and make the connections from the building to the mains. If you enjoy this type of content, give me a like and give me a comment, ask questions. I want this to be more like a community style. I know that a lot of you guys are anywhere between 0 to 4 years in. I was once in your shoes. So let me know what more you want to see. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.
Shout out to my mom's mom. I wish she could have took my place in the space. I call home, nothing safe about it though. It's a race to be known. See my face now, it's grown when it rains and it pours. That's just life, how it goes. I get praised.